Welcome to the City of Battle Creek, Michigan, and our Battle Creek City Commission meeting for Tuesday, November 15th, 2022. It is 7 p.m. We're going to have a moment of silence for our invocation this evening, and I'll call upon Commissioner Morris to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. When you have a second, would you please stand if you're able to for our moment of silence? Commissioner Morris?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Morris. Next item on our agenda is roll call. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Commissioner Blood?
Present.
Commissioner Gray?
Present.
Commissioner Herring? Commissioner Lance? Mayor Banky?
Here.
Commissioner Morris?
Here.
Vice Mayor Reynolds?
Present.
Commissioner Sophia? Here. And Commissioner Zenda Wilson?
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We would now like to make some special proclamations. We will also ask any commissioners that would like to make comments after each presentation to feel free to. And at this time, I'd like to call upon Commissioner Sophia and Commissioner Blood to please come forward, front center, and we will make a special presentation.
Can you give this to Sherry?
I was so pleased when the mayor said, would you help? And I got to present this to you this evening. Surprise! I have a proclamation here signed by both the mayor and myself for Commissioner Kristen Blood. And if you'd allow me, I'd like to read it. And it says, whereas Kristen Blood was first elected to the Battle Creek City Commission in November 2020 and served until November of 2022 as the Ward 1 Commissioner. And whereas during her tenure on the commission, she served on the Public Transportation Committee and as an alternate on the City Attorney Evaluation Committee and the City Manager Performance Evaluation Committee. She has also served on the Sustainable Battle Creek Committee since 2019. And whereas Commissioner Blood was dedicated in her service as a commissioner, she was devoted to her elected seat and passionate about making a difference in the community. She was committed to the City of Battle Creek and those she served. And whereas serving as Ward 1 Commissioner, she has always listened to her constituents and represented them with integrity and to the best of her ability. Now, therefore, Mark Banky and I, on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby proclaim that Kristen Blood be recognized for her contributions while serving on the Battle Creek City Commission. We commend her for her heartfelt dedication to our community.
We're now going to return to our seats, and a couple of the commissioners have some comments they want to participate with. So I'm going to go Commissioner Sophia first.
Actually, Mayor, I have comments about all of them all together.
All right, we'll go last then. Are there any other comments from the commission? Seeing none, I'm going to call upon the Vice Mayor to come forward, please, and Commissioner Wilson.
Proclamation. Whereas Kathy Zender Wilson was first elected to the Battle Creek City Commission in November of 2020 and served until November 20th, 22 as Ward 4 Commissioner. And whereas during her tenure on the commission, she served as the Battle Creek Area Metropolitan Service Agency and also Chair of the Human Relations Board. And whereas Commissioner Zender Wilson was dedicated to her service as a commissioner, she was actively involved in the American Rescue Plan, the ARPA, town hall forums, community events. Her passion for making the city of Battle Creek a welcoming, caring, and compassionate place for all whoever she represented. She was committed to the city of Battle Creek and those she served. And whereas while serving as Ward 4 Commissioner, she has always listened to her constituents and represented them with integrity and the best of her ability. And now, therefore, I, Carla Reynolds, Vice Mayor of City of Battle Creek, on behalf of the city here of the Battle Creek City Commission, do hereby proclaim Kathy Zender Wilson being recognized for her contribution while serving as Battle Creek City Commission. We recommend her for her heartfelt dedication to our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Please allow me to read this proclamation. Whereas Lynn Ward Gray has served on the Battle Creek City Commission collectively for over 10 years, with her most recent term to fill a vacancy from July through November of 2022. And whereas we want to sincerely thank Commissioner Gray for her service and willingness to step in and offer her wisdom and experience during this commission term. And whereas Commissioner Gray is passionate about servicing the people of our community. Over the years, she has served as Vice Mayor of the City Commission, a longtime liaison to the Youth Advisory Board, and most recently was appointed to the Insurance Policy Review Committee. And whereas Commissioner Gray has been advocated for her constituents and represented them with devotion, she has always been active in helping others to educate and reach the Battle Creek community, engaging with her fellow neighbors on various boards to make a positive difference in the city of Battle Creek. Therefore, on behalf of the citizens of the city of Battle Creek, we do hereby proclaim that Lynn Moore Gray be recognized for her contributions while serving on the Battle Creek City Commission. We commend her for her heartfelt dedication to our community. Lynn, thank you very much. We appreciate your service, and God bless you. We'll now go to Commissioner Sophia, which has some prepared remarks.
Thank you, Mayor. As this term draws to a close, I'd like to share my thoughts in prose. For those departing the commission, you've been an integral part of this city's mission. For at-large Commissioner Lynn Ward Gray, there are many things that we could say. An active member of her sorority, she makes service her priority. To encourage engagement, she did afford by reviving the Youth Advisory Board. It should be said that she will never miss an opportunity to help others in her community. As for Ward 3 Commissioner Bunika Herring, this is the memory that I am sharing. On a cold and rainy day this spring, to review housing options for Battle Creek to bring, we rode the bus on down to Gary, the gathered information back home to carry. There's so much that she can do. Will we see more cakes by Boo? To Commissioner Kristen Blood from Ward 1, I'm glad you took the time to run. From your seat at the beginning of the row, there were questions aplenty to keep you in the know. Always eager to grow and learn, it was for information you did yearn. Can we continue our walk and guacs? I truly enjoy our little talks. And finally, Commissioner Kathy Zenda Wilson from Ward 4. Eager to make a difference, her talent stood sore. With a minimum of hocus pocus, she quickly found what would be her focus. What stuck with her and hit a chord was leading the Human Relations Board. What has stuck with me and what I'll save is her willingness to be brave. There are so many things that could be said, but I'll leave it here and in its stead. Ask what you will do with your free Tuesday nights, watch a movie, take in the sights. This isn't goodbye, this isn't the end. I'm glad to have served with you and call you a friend.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Sophia. Are there any other comments by any of the commissioners at this time? Vice Mayor Reynolds.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. I just want to ditto that. That was absolutely wonderful. And you guys truly, truly will be missed. We've done many things here in the community together. And I don't expect this to be the end of it. I look forward to seeing you in the future in other engagements. But thank you so much for your service. It was a true joy to have served with you ladies. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Commissioner Linmore Gray.
I too want to say thank you to my fellow commissioners for welcoming for that short period of time. I appreciate all the conversations and good work in that short period of time, and congratulate all those who are stepping down, and wish you all the best. And that was absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, my heart is full. Thank you so much, Sherry. I have really, this has been an honor to serve for the last 2 years. I'm at peace with my decision to step down as commissioner and not run again, but I will continue my service as the chair of the Human Relations Board. I feel that that is a place for where my skills and my gifts are best utilized. And I am so grateful to know how the city works now, so I can be a better advocate, and I will not be a stranger to this space. And so I want to thank each of you who were patient and graceful with me as I learned. And, you know, we did some good trouble things while I was here. So, you know, keep at it. And for those of you who have won, you know, continue the good fight. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilson. Any other comments? Commissioner Blood.
Well, I have high expectations for December when I'll be either sitting here or at home waiting for you to have another one. You know how to make my heart smile, Sophia. That was awesome. And again, just like Kathy Zenda Wilson had said, my heart is full with that. And I appreciate serving up here alongside each of you. And I also will get to be here in a different capacity now as a resident with a better understanding and a better knowledge of how things work. So hopefully I will come to the podium more educated and prepared. And thank you for the patience and guidance, because I did have a lot of questions and I did yearn to learn. So I appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing what this next commission does. We have a few people who are in the audience that were elected. So I look forward to seeing what takes place. So thank you and good luck.
Thank you, Commissioner Blood. Any other comments? Seeing none, we'll move on. I'm going to have a couple presentations. First of all, I'd like to turn it over to our city manager, who will introduce the representatives from Public Services.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. We all know that garbage and recycling is high on the list for our residents and for the commissioners, and we thought it might be good to bring in Republic representatives to kind of talk a little bit about their service to the city of Battle Creek and answer any of the questions that the commissioners may have. I also see Patty is in the audience. She serves as our staff liaison to Republic. And she does a fantastic job, always trying to find the way to help out those who may have had struggles or missed pickups or things of that nature. So I get to introduce Mike Yarger. He is the general manager of Republic. He has brought several of his colleagues, in hopes of answering any questions or explaining what they're seeing right now from a service delivery perspective. We certainly know that the whole talent pool is a challenge for all employers. I know Republic has faced that, and I think they have put some things in place to help buffer that. But with, I think, over 14,000 customers, there are going to be some hiccups along the way, but I do believe that they're committed to the highest level of customer service, and we'll continue to work with them as our partner in trash and recycling. So, Mr. Yager, please come on up.
All right. You guys hear me? All right, good. First, thanks for having us. I'm joined by members of my leadership team and our lead driver, actually, in Battle Creek. We're excited to be here. We enjoy servicing the city of Battle Creek on a daily basis, and it's 17,000 households. And we offer 4 services, obviously your residential trash, yard waste, recycling, and the bulk service at the curb as well. So we have had, just like many others, some staffing challenges throughout the year. We do prioritize Battle Creek consistently every day. And if there ever is a service issue, we prioritize that the next day to make sure it gets resolved as quickly and as efficiently as possible for the community here in Battle Creek. With that, any questions or concerns?
All right, why don't I just start out? I want to keep it positive because I think you guys have made a huge change in the way that we handle our recyclables, our garbage, and our leaves and grass clippings. I think it's important that you understand that citizens want their garbage picked up. If it's not picked up and it's carried over the following Monday, it really wrecks my weekend. So I think it's important that you understand that we appreciate what you've done so far. You've done a great job. I think your efficiencies are second to none. The number of people that you have operating is right on the target. You've done a good job, but it's when you fail, it causes us concern. So if you can understand that. I also want to thank you for the trip that we took to Elkhart, Indiana to see your recycle works down there. That was really good, and it better understands, or it makes us better appreciate and understand how everything is recycled. And it's remarkable that everything is pretty much recycled or reused in some form or manner. So I'm going to let the other commissioners talk. Commissioner Wilson's got her hand up, but I think you understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
We'll move forward. Commissioner Wilson.
Sure, thank you. So first of all, I want to say that transitions are hard. Transitions during a pandemic, even harder. Transitions during a pandemic when everybody's having workforce challenges. I mean, there have been multiple things that you guys have faced. So I want to, first appreciate that. Each time I've had a missed pickup, I've called and I've gotten a call back if somebody isn't answering right away. So I want to just say you've done great with customer service. I mean, it's a friendly person calling me back, letting me know how it's going to be resolved rather quickly. So kudos on that. Wish the call wasn't necessary, but I get that there are challenges. So I am curious. My question would be, what are the things you are doing as a company to build your workforce? Are there things that you're trying that are new to try and increase folks who want to do the work, and what might those things be? And is there anything we can do as a city to support you in that?
Yeah, I'd say first and foremost, we are moving away from what our normal workforce would have looked like previously 3 years ago and overstaffing to the extent that we can. We're sharing resources between our Kalamazoo and our Marshall. That's where we run out of each day. We share those resources across divisions. I'd say previously to taking over the city of Battle Creek, we did not do that. So we're utilizing our resources to the best of our ability. We consistently do market wage analysis when it comes to pay rate to make the position more attractive and make it competitive with folks who do similar work in other industries as well. So we're recruiting, we're pulling out all the stops, we're connecting with the Calhoun County Technology Center for mechanic resources. We're reaching out, I'd say, to other resources for personnel that we have not previously done in the past.
We have a pretty strong workforce development, collective going on here in Battle Creek. And if you're not yet connected through Michigan Works, they do job fairs often.
If you're a part of those, that's great. If you're not, let me know if I can connect
Okay,
you.
sounds good.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commission comments, questions? Well, I don't see any. I want to say thank you for the beautiful trucks, too. I mean, they're clean. I like the lights on them, especially the lights during the middle of the morning. You guys are doing a good job. Just keep it up and try to work over those little challenges.
Thank you, and thanks to Patty and the team here at City Battle Creek. We have a great relationship, work well with them, and communication really generally solves a lot of problems, and we have really open lines of communication. And again, Saturday, our track will be lit up in the parade, so we're looking forward to that as well. So.
Well, and let me make sure, you don't need to stay for the rest of our meeting, but if you want to leave, you can.
All right.
But if you
Sounds
want to
good.
stick around and talk to any of the citizens, you can.
Okay.
Sir,
Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
Can I follow up
Sure,
with a,
Commissioner.
thank you. I appreciate that. Just so, you know, regardless of our weekends being ruined on who calls, how might someone who has some pickup issues, how might they get a hold of Republic or a hold of Patty? And what would that process look like so they can best communicate their concerns directly with you when there are some issues?
Yep, there's a local phone number that they can call. It goes directly to a representative of ours in Kalamazoo. And that individual will then funnel it to the appropriate supervisor or manager in charge to make sure that missed pickup gets addressed in a timely manner.
Okay, and I believe that phone number is on our website.
Yes.
And could you come up and provide that phone number, just so whoever is listening at home?
I'm Patty with the city's environmental department. The phone number is 269-216-8008. And
Okay.
you'll likely get a call back that day. She's wonderful, so.
All right, fantastic. So if those people who are listening at home, 269-216-8008, and that will connect them with a representative to get help if they need.
Yes, there might be on the website an 800 number or something. That's like just the General Republic website that someone might Google and find, but really use that local number, leave a message if you don't get a live person, but that's the number you want.
And will that person handle all 4 services that are provided within our city?
Yes.
Fantastic. All right, thank you.
Any other comments by the commission? Once again, I want to thank everyone, and leaves and grass clipping will be picked up until December 6th, right?
Correct. Where the last
Ninth.
The 9th.
Friday of the first full week of December.
The night.
Very good. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Next, I'd like to turn it over to our city manager, who will make an announcement, or
I'm going to introduce the next presentation, Mayor. Thank you very
Thank
much. Also, we could say she doesn't need any introduction, but it is always a pleasure to invite Mallory Avis to the City Commission meeting to share with you all things transit as they continue to evolve during a pandemic and some of the other goals that they are working towards. So, Mallory?
Sorry, I've lost my mouse. Thank you. So while Vicki gets the presentation up, I'm gonna preface that I'm doing a slightly different style presentation than some of the past staff presentations that I've given. And that's just because so much of your time as the commission has been during the pandemic. In fact, one of my first times meeting you was virtually in a virtual Transit 101 that I gave like on a recorded YouTube video from inside a bus, right? So since then, this commission has supported BCT through trials and tribulation, wins, successes, losses, including the loss of one of our own within our department. I remember presenting often on what our ridership statistics were during the pandemic, how we were keeping our passengers safe, how we were keeping our drivers safe, and how we were coping throughout COVID. And you guys were great at recognizing our team and our staff with proclamations, certificates of recognition, and we appreciate that. So for my presentation today, instead of focusing on statistics and metrics with some of your last meeting, instead we're going to highlight some of our accomplishments over the last 2 years. And I'm going to start with a small video that I shared with my staff at the beginning of this year as kind of a let's get going into 2022. And it was motivating for a lot of us. So it's a quick 2-minute video, and then I'll come back.
men and women are putting it on the line every day. And I've said this before, I mean, we're the first responders to the first responders.
The people that are giving you your COVID vaccines, those people take our buses, and I need to take them to work.
I don't know if this is the day that I myself may go out and be infected, but I guess my courage is greater than my fear.
Well, I can definitely say I feel like a hero because I have been there through it all. We showed up every day and we kept it going.
All smiles aboard the MTA float from the essential workers who carried the city through the pandemic.
It's a great honor. I mean, you see all the people that turned out and all the workers that are here, you know, just we're all very appreciative.
Transportation workers are heroes, moving heroes, and we're grateful to each of them.
Now is the time to embrace the goals of climate responsibility, equity, and economic strengths for the future.
We need smart deployments that minimize inconvenience for riders and increases their confidence in mass transit.
If we can take technology, combine it with mass transit, we can create a totally new way for people to move around the city.
So not everybody may have nerded out as much as I did during that video, but that really, for my staff, that was kind of our, like, let's go get this year, let's go get 2022. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. So what have we been up to for the last 2 years? We've been busy going after historic funding opportunities. And when I say historic, I truly mean historic. Our projects include fleet replacement, bus shelter replacement, technology upgrades, facility improvements, and a nationally recognized mobility pilot. In total, we have over $21 million worth of federal, state, and local operating and capital grants just since 2020. On the horizon, we continue to pursue facility replacement funding, expanded operational funding, and we continue discussions around the formation of a countywide transit authority, including the support from a dedicated transit millage. When we talk about our staff development over the last 2 years, we really focused on retention, employee morale, and how we can continue to develop and train our staff. In 2021 and 2022, we had the opportunity to compete in the Michigan Small Bus Rodeo. And we are so proud of the team that we sent. Although we did not come home as a team champion, most notably our dispatcher, Matt McKee, came home as the state champion in passenger securement. And that's important because he unseated a 7-year champion. So Battle Creek Transit is home of the state Q-Straight Driver of the Year, even though he is our dispatcher. Which really speaks to the training and development that we provide all of our staff, particularly focusing on the last 2 years. We have achieved certifications in certified community transportation supervisor. We have a certified community travel trainer, and we have 2 on-staff PASS trainers. And PASS stands for Passenger Assistance, Safety, and Sensitivity. All of our staff, including most recently one of our mechanics, are trained in PASS so that in any encounter with our passengers, they're able to address with understanding and sensitivity. Next slide, please. And then I talk often about our world tour, our BC Go World Tour. And we've had the opportunity to really have not just a national stage, but an international stage for BC Go as well. Over the last several months, we have been able to share the successes and, of course, failures, because BC Go 1.0 was not great. So we've been able to share our lessons learned at the ITS World Congress in Los Angeles. We accepted a first prize at the APTA AdWheel Awards in Seattle for our BC Go commercial. We presented at the Mass Transit Transitions Conference in Indianapolis, and then a handful of other case studies and webinars, including a webinar coming up in December. And we're excited to be able to share the lessons learned about BC Go, just because of the impact that it has had on our community. The details and the data that we've been able to collect over the last year and a half or so of this pilot has really caught international attention. Most notably on that slide, which again to non-transit nerds, we had the opportunity to give like a 3-minute on-the-spot unscripted elevator speech to MDOT's director, Paul Ajaba. So he was curious about BC Go. We ran into him at the ITS World Congress and kind of put us on the spot, like, well, tell me about this program that MDOT is funding. And he was very impressed with what we had to share. So speaking of BC Go, despite launching during a pandemic, we have had over 3,000 unique users register within the BC Go app. Now that is calling our dispatch office or completing it on the app on their own. But this is incredible, considering this is a brand new mode of transportation in our relatively rural community, keeping in mind that this is a county-wide pilot. Just over 19 months of operation, we've had over 57,000 booking requests. So that's people requesting rides throughout Calhoun County. We've only been able to fulfill about 12,500 of those rides. That's because we're operating only 2 minivans at a reduced capacity due to COVID restrictions, and through 718 square miles, so Calhoun County, with only 2 minivans. That demand of 57,000 plus trip requests really speaks to the success of BC Go and how needed it is within our community. Many of our passengers rely on BC Go as their primary mode of transportation, and that information is important as we continue to communicate the successes of BC Go and as we continue to pursue a sustainable and permanent funding solution to keep it going. So of course, all of these highlights wouldn't be possible without the team doing the work on the front line. So this is actually a picture of one of the last meetings that my team was able to be at in person. We accepted a proclamation on behalf of Transit Driver Appreciation Week, and we wouldn't be able to have all these highlights also without challenges. So similar to what Republic shared, we are facing staffing challenges, and those staffing challenges have required us to reduce service levels. Supply chain shortages have kept buses off the road. Increased regulation and reporting requirements has slowed down day-to-day operations, but we continue to push through, and we continue to be agile and innovative, and we continue to challenge our staff to think about what's next. So as that video ended, that was kind of the lead into our training session back in January of what is next for Battle Creek Transit. And we continue to encourage our staff to think of creative solutions to complex problems, including our staffing, which really came through in recent union negotiations. We were a very cohesive unit in trying to determine how can we get past this. And then, as Secretary Buttigieg said in the video clip earlier, this last year has brought out the best in transit, but it has also revealed new priorities, and that's a commitment to our communities, sustainability, mobility, equity, and economic recovery. And I am happy to say that as transit, we play a role in all of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emery. Are there any questions of Mallory at this time? Excellent presentation. We appreciate everything you're doing to advance transit in our community. Thanks. Commissioner Blood.
Well, Mallory, it's been an honor to serve with you, and I really hope that this next commission continues to make transit a high priority. You do connect with each one of those things. You make it possible for people to get to where they need to go. And I know for one, I appreciate your services being available and open because like I've said, my family rides the bus on occasion. My son right now is one of those 57,000 that can't secure a ride to get to the doctors. And so really I am looking forward to see how BC grows. And I am absolutely positive with your amazing team that you are going to write and achieve a grant that will cover everything. Because I think from day one, I was like, Mallory's team is on point with grant writing. It's amazing. So I just want to commend you and your whole team on the work you're doing, and really frontline heroes, absolutely. I concur, and I think that was a great video to show your team to build morale and take that next leap into what this year might look like. So congratulations on all your accomplishments, and it will be sad that I won't get to work with you, but I know that you will continue to do amazing things.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other commission comments? Once again, thank you, Mallory.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is a public hearing. Madam Clerk, no, excuse me, we're going to back up. Next item on our agenda is chair noting any added or deleted resolutions.
There were none.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is petition, communications, and reports.
There were none.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is a public hearing. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
This is a public hearing to consider removal of Planning Commission member Ariel Laws for absenteeism.
I'm going to declare the public hearing open. If you would like to make a public comment on the subject of this public hearing, then please raise your hand and wait for us to acknowledge you, then come forward to the podium. We will have 3 minutes to make your comment. Please state your name and address before making your comment. And I believe that the petition, communications, and reports, the Planning and Zoning Division reports from 19, 20, and 21 were just to be received on record. So, are there anyone wanting to make a public comment at this public hearing? I'm not seeing any public comments. All right, I'm not seeing none. Is there any from the commission? Hearing none, we'll declare this public hearing closed. Next item on our agenda is introduction of ordinances. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
The subject parcels are currently zoned I-2 Heavy Industrial. The parcels are surrounded to the east and south by the I-2 Heavy Industrial District, with the G Green District immediately across Columbia Avenue West to the north. When the city recodified the zoning ordinance and zoning map in 2020, the subject parcels were zoned I-2 Heavy Industrial in accordance with the adopted land use plan. This proposed ordinance would rezone parcels located along Robertson Avenue, Newtown Avenue, West Columbia Avenue, Independence Avenue, and Songbird Lane from I-2 Heavy Industrial District to R1A Single Family Residential District.
Commissioner Morris moves to introduce Resolution 14-2022.
Vice Mayor Reynolds supports.
Been moved and supported to approve ordinance 14-2022. If you'd like to make a public comment on any of these ordinance introductions, then please raise your hand and wait for us to acknowledge you. After each is read by the clerk, and then come forward to the podium, where you'll have 3 minutes to make your comment. Yes, sir. We're going to give it to the clerk.
Okay, my name is Wayne Edmonds. I live at 4521 Columbia Avenue West. And why does the city want the city want the listed addresses to be zoned residential now after decades? Going back when the area was part of Battle Creek Township, these properties have been zoned commercial or business to some degree. We have moved here knowing full well of the existing zoning, what that entailed. Our properties are sandwiched by businesses: Pomp's Tire, Ritchie Industrial, Overhead Door, Star Truck Rental, Arlene's Truck Stop. Seems that Tifa has in recent past been interested in developing Newtown for business for a business area. What changed? I want to state that I'm not opposed to TIFA. TIFA has been a great asset to the Battle Creek area. Fort Custer Industrial Park is probably the best example. I'm not necessarily opposed to our properties being rezoned as residential. I see advantages to that. What I am opposed to is the fact that the properties that are adjacent to, even surrounded by parcels that are on the list to be rezoned, are singled out to remain zoned I-2. Those that are listed to be rezoned R1A are area homeowners and residents, while the parcels under the control of TIFA will remain I-2. This change would in effect put the local homeowners on an uneven ground when it comes to sale of the property. First, because the business property historically draws greater value than residential. Second, because when a business such as a gas station or chain discount store wants to build, they will look at properly zoned parcels first, leaving us out of the negotiations. Again, I'm not necessarily opposed to being zoned residential, and I do not dislike TIFA. I just want to be treated fairly. In conclusion, adoption of this ordinance as written would be a great disservice to the taxpayers of the area.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask our Assistant City Manager, Ted Deering, to respond. I would give you my explanation, but it's very simple. Ted, could you expand upon it?
Yeah, I certainly could. Thank you, Mayor. And we do also have some representatives from the Planning Department. Both Susan and Travis are with us this evening, and I think can add additional information. This is an area, there is a combination of properties in this area with different zonings. Primarily, the chunk of what we're looking to change from industrial back to residential has traditionally been residential. There's a lot of residential properties in this area. And when we put together the future land use plan, we envisioned this area as industrial for future development, but that area impacted a tremendous amount of current residential properties, mostly R1B properties in that area. And in order to rectify that, because those property owners were looking to sell their property and they couldn't get financing for those that were looking to buy their properties, that was one of the primary challenges that folks living in this area were facing. In order to help deal with that, essentially what we're doing was going back to the future a little bit here. Previously, these properties had been zoned residential. Now, that doesn't speak for every single property that's affected here, but it's the vast majority of them. And in order to resolve some of these issues, we're considering, or asking the Commission to consider to rezone these properties back primarily to residential. And I would ask Travis or Susan to maybe confirm there's well over 100 properties, I think, in question here.
I'd say it's 80-ish.
Okay, yeah, close to 100 properties in question here, primarily that are primarily used for residential purposes. So we just think, overall, this is the best strategy for this area. It seems to be the general request from that area of that part of the community, and as a result, again, we're rezoning back to what has traditionally been the zoning in that area, but still thinking about the fact that in the future, if it makes more sense for this to be industrial, that's still an opportunity for us.
Sir, so I'm not sure if that was the explanation you're looking for. So what happened was this summer there were 2 property owners in that area that attempted to sell their home, and they found out that it was zoned industrial through an error by our planning department. So consequently, they didn't sell their home. Banking institutions are a lot more stringent today than they were 10 years ago when it comes to refinancing or creating a mortgage. So with this change, if those people want to sell their home and they have a buyer, they'll be able to do it because it isn't going to be zoned industrial.
Yeah, I know a few houses out there that have sold, and they don't seem to have problems. The guy right down the street from me bought a private house. I mean, I can see his house from my driveway. He didn't have any problems at all.
Mayor, it might help to just clarify, as you suggested too, that in most of these cases, if you have a residentially zoned property that's been rezoned to industrial, it is hard for a new homeowner to come in and get a mortgage. And what we essentially did when we rezoned to industrial is we created a scenario where we had a lot of non-conforming uses. And it's very difficult, for example, to mortgage a non-conforming use. And that's the primary driver behind going back to a residential zoning in this area.
Thank you, Ted.
That's it?
That's it. Thank you very much. Are there any other public comments at this time? Are there any other public comments? Are there any commission comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to the vote. Let's go ahead and vote for the introduction.
Commissioner Gray, is it not working for you?
Yep, it's not popping up, so yes.
Thank you.
Oh, here it is.
Okay. Thank you.
Introduction has been approved for ordinance 14-2022. Next item on our agenda is ordinance introduction 15-2022. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
The subject sites include 16 parcels located along Dickman Road from McCamley southeast to Riverside Drive at Gogwek and Dickman Road. Most of these parcels are vacant or have vacant buildings. Aside from the small parcels that line the larger parcels or border the roads, the main vacant parcels identified by this petition range in size from 1 to 10 acres with reliable refrigeration, and the parcel east of it being exceptions. These parcels have previously hosted or are currently hosting commercial uses, and in the case of the parcel along Gogwek, an apartment complex. The City of Battle Creek undertook a recondition of the zoning ordinance and zoning map in 2020 in an effort to better align both with the stated goals and vision of the adopted 2018 master plan, as well as to correct a multitude of zoning issues throughout the city. Currently, the parcels that are the subject of this petition are zoned for T3 neighborhood commercial. The proposed ordinance would rezone 16 parcels located along Dickman Road from McCamley Street South to 80 Riverside Drive, Dickman Road at Gogwek Street East from T3 neighborhood commercial district to T4 downtown commercial district.
Commissioner Morris moves to introduce ordinance 15-2022.
Vice Mayor Reynolds supports.
So moved and supported to introduce 15-2022 ordinance. Are there any public comments at this time? Are there any public comments? Seeing none, are there any commission comments? Seeing none, would you please vote on the introduction of 15-2022 new ordinance? The ordinance has been introduced. Next item on our agenda is the adoption of ordinance 530, ordinance 13-2022.
The subject property of the proposed rezone, 175 College Street, is situated along the west side of College Street, approximately 220 feet to the south of the intersection of College Street and Emmett Street West. The property is currently zoned T3 Neighborhood Commercial District, with the applicant seeking a rezoning of the property to T4 Downtown Commercial. This resolution would adopt ordinance 13-2022 to rezone 175 College Street from T3 Neighborhood Commercial District to T4 Downtown Commercial District.
Commissioner Morris moves to adopt ordinance 13-2022.
Vice Mayor Reynolds supports.
It's been moved and supported to adopt ordinance 13-2022. Are there any public comments at this time? Are there any public comments? Seeing none, are there any commission comments, questions, or clarifications? Seeing none, would you please vote on the adoption of ordinance resolution 530 and ordinance 13-2022? The adoption of ordinance resolution 530, ordinance 13-22, 2022 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is public comment regarding consent agenda and resolutions not on the consent agenda. If you'd like to make public comment, regarding the consent agenda and resolutions not on the consent agenda, please raise your hand and we will acknowledge you to come forward to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes to make your comments. Please state your name and address before beginning your comment and indicate what resolution you are speaking to. Are there any public comments at this time? Any public comments? Seeing none, we're on to commission comments regarding meeting business.
You have one, John.
I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand up, John.
John Kennevic, 234 South Avenue. This is in regards to Resolution 543. I have no objections to either in favor or against this, but did ponder some questions about the American Rescue Plan and the Haven of Rest getting $252,000 federal money. Questions would be, what did Detroit get in the American Rescue Plan? Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, St. Louis? This made me wonder because even though this is a wonderful thing, the original intention of the United States Constitution and the founders of this country basically kept government very limited. It wasn't about charity service or doing things like that. It was basically for roads and a military and a navy and a little bit of work to sustain those through paperwork. We're way beyond that. There's always a cost, and there's only two ways the money comes from the American Rescue Plan. Of course, it comes from the federal government. The question is, does the federal government have that money? You think it comes in on taxpayer dollars? Well, that may be true, but it also may be a debt that's located and forced on all the tax-paying citizens of the United States. Currently, we are at $172+ trillion in the uninsured debt liability, and the national debt is about $31 trillion. When the uninsured debt liability hits $180 trillion, that'll be 6 times the national debt, and every single citizen in the United States, tax-paying citizen, will owe back approximately $1,750,000. Now, this sounds very boring, but there's always a cost that comes from things. It's not something for nothing, and it's not for free. Like I said, I have no objection to this. I just know that the Treasury will always be rated, and most of those wonderful programs that are created unfortunately end up in financial failure. I know you're going to approve this. You did it for $7 million of the all nonprofits in the past. So what's changed? Thank you.
Are there any other public comments at this time? Seeing none, any commission comments? Excuse me, we'll go commission comment regarding meeting business.
Commissioner Morris moves to accept the consent agenda.
Vice Mayor Reynolds supports.
It's been moved and supported to approve the consent agenda. Are there any questions by the commission on the consent agenda? Seeing none, would you please vote for approval of the consent agenda?
Thank you.
Consent agenda has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 539. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Section 15 of the Michigan Planning Enabling Act, MCL 125.3815, Section 9, provides in pertinent part as follows. Section 9, the legislative body may remove a member of the Planning Commission for malfeasance, misfeasance, malfeasance, or nonfeasance in office upon written charges and after a public hearing. Battle Creek Ordinance 1280.02 C1 provides as follows. The City Commission may remove a member of the Planning Commission for misfeasance, malfeasance, or nonfeasance in office upon written charges and after a public hearing. Battle Creek Planning Commissioner Bylaws, Article 2, Section 2, provides as follows in pertinent part. Nonfeasance may include chronic absenteeism, which shall apply when a member misses more than 4 meetings during 1 year of his or her term. Commissioner Ariel Laws was provided notice by email and regular mail on November 10, 2022, with a written charge that he has committed nonfeasance as a Planning Commission member for chronic absenteeism by missing more than 4 meetings in calendar year 2022, and that a public hearing would be held at the November 15, 2022 City Commission meeting seeking removal.
Commissioner Morris moves to approve Resolution 539.
Vice Mayor Reynolds supports.
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 539. Are there any commission comments? Commissioner Wilson.
I just want to lift up that we have a lot of boards and commissions as a city that help us understand the perspectives of residents as we make decisions, and those positions are critical to making this city work. And for those who are interested in serving in that capacity, I thank you. Know that it's a serious commitment, and we never want to get to this point where we have to actually ask somebody to step down. That's never the goal. But if you are willing, please reach out to the city staff, go on the city website and find there's openings in just about every commission and board, I believe. And if you don't have to sit up here to play a role in what we do. So I really just want to encourage that at every step. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner, for your comments. They're very well stated. Any other commission comments at this time? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 539? Resolution 539 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 540. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Pursuant to employment provisions 296.09C, no person shall be employed by the city or paid with city funds who has retired under the provisions of the Michigan Municipal Employees Retirement System. The city manager may make exceptions to this provision with the approval of the City Commission when she feels the interest of the city would be served thereby. Leona Parrish retired from the Community Services Department as an administrative assistant in the Planning Division. The department is requesting the ability to allow Leona to temporarily return in order to assist with training a new city employee. This resolution would authorize the city manager to employ retiree Leona Parrish on a temporary basis under 296.09C.
Commissioner Morris moves to approve Resolution 540.
Vice Mayor Reynolds supports.
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 540. Are there any comments or questions or clarifications by the City Commission at this time? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 540? Resolution 540 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 541. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
The subject site is located along the west side of South 24th Street, approximately 217 feet south of Columbia Avenue West. The subject parcel currently includes a single legally non-conforming building at the northeast corner of the property for which no alteration is proposed. Mitten State Engineering is in the process of obtaining site plan approval for a minor vehicle repair / automotive repair operation to service diesel vehicles at the site with the special use permit, which is required for the owner to offer major vehicle repair services that includes the service of semi-trucks. This resolution seeks to approve S13-2022, a special use permit to allow for a new major vehicle repair shop at 164 South 24th Street in a B1 corridor commercial district pursuant to Section 1281.05 of the zoning code.
Commissioner Morris moves to approve Resolution 541.
Vice Mayor Reynolds supports.
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 541. Are there any questions or comments or clarifications needed by the City Commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 541? Resolution 541 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 542.
The subject site is a total of 22,781.88 square feet, 0.523 of an acre, with a 1,688 square foot home constructed in 1964 and a 528 square foot garage. The applicant is proposing to have an accessory use of a group childcare home of up to 12 children. Recognizing that there is generally a shortage of childcare for working people in the state of Michigan, the legislature this past June increased the maximum number of children for a state-licensed child care family home, an accessory use by right in the R1A district, from 6 to 7, and the maximum number of children for a child care group home from 12 to 14. At this time, local ordinance remains a maximum of 12 children. This resolution seeks to approve S14-2022, a special use permit to allow for an in-home group child care home for up to 12 children at 24 Golden Avenue in a R1A single-family residential district pursuant to Section 1281.06 of the zoning code.
Commissioner Morris moves to approve Resolution 542.
Vice Mayor Reynolds supports.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 542. Are there any comments, questions, or Commissioner Wilson?
Thank you. The governor has stated that she has a goal of 1,000 new childcare businesses in the state by the end of 2024. So the fact that we're seeing this right now is really hopeful to me. I know that we just conducted a study of 3 large employers in Battle Creek and found that 62% of those with children 0 to 5 are actively looking for childcare right now, meaning they struggle to find it. That's a huge number, right? So the need is there. I appreciate anybody who's stepping up into this space. I do hope that you take every advantage of the city's economic development office as you develop this business and really consider yourself a business owner and not just a provider. There are other resources in the city too, and I'm happy to connect with anybody who's interested. So thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commission comments? Seeing none, would you please vote on the approval of Resolution 542? Resolution 542 has been approved. We want to thank the applicant very much and welcome to Battle Creek, too. They're from the UP. Thank you. Congratulations. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 543.
On September 21, 2021, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, awarded the City of Battle Creek $1,094,358 of Home American Rescue Plan, HOME ARP program funds. The City of Battle Creek prepared a HOME ARP allocation plan in accordance with HUD guidelines, published on September 13, 2021, titled Requirements for the Use of Funds in the Home American Rescue Plan Program. As part of the preparation of the allocation plan, city staff issued a request for proposals from the community. 9 proposals were received, totaling roughly $4 million. 6 proposals were recommended for $959,090 of Home ARP funding. The allocation plan was adopted by the City Commission during its August 8, 2022 meeting, setting aside funding for programs that provide supportive services and the development of permanent supportive housing units. The agreement with the Haven of Rest Ministries will provide case managers for 2 years to provide recovery services to individuals and assist them with finding safe and affordable housing, as well as providing other referrals to providers and resources within the community as needed. This resolution seeks to authorize the city manager to execute the 2022 Home ARP Haven of Rest Ministries Supportive Services Grant Agreement for the amount of $252,000.
Commissioner Morris moves to approve Resolution 543.
Vice Mayor Reynolds supports.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 543. Are there any comments by the commission or questions or clarifications needed? Commissioner Blood.
Yes, thank you. I'm not sure if anyone from the Haven is here to answer these questions or if I should direct them at city staff, perhaps.
I think Chris Lucier was here.
Dan's here. Dan Jones.
Chris is here, so.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. So when I'm looking through here, it says eligible populations, but that's not defined. Can someone define for me what an eligible population or an eligible program participant is?
So there's, the eligible populations are listed in the grant agreement with the Haven, which was attached. So that has and it's a couple pages of explanation of those definitions, but roughly summarized, the populations include homeless folks per certain HUD definitions of homelessness, at risk of homelessness per a number of different HUD definitions of at risk of homelessness, those who are fleeing domestic violence situations.
So I see all of that. I
Okay,
read
sure.
all of that in the qualifying populations.
Yes.
But qualifying populations versus eligible participants, to me, are not necessarily the same. So what I'm kind of asking is to be a part of the Havens programming, not that, so let me premise this with, I have a religion, I follow religion, I've got all that. Do people who participate in the program with Haven for any of the life recovery programs have to follow religion in which to obtain support? Is that part of the eligible?
So they don't, and the federal government prohibits funding programs where that is a requirement.
Okay.
And there are specific guidelines that they have to follow in order to meet the federal guidelines. So it's not that religion or spirituality can't be a component, but there has to be. It can't be. It has to be totally optional, and folks of any religion have to be accommodated in order to make use of that. And Dan can speak. The director of the Haven can speak to that if you want to hear directly how they address that. They did cover how they address that in their proposal, and so that is a part of the agreement with them, that they'll abide by those requirements from the federal government.
That's fantastic. And within this line item of 250,000, how many staffed members will that be? At one point, I thought it looked like 2, but so is that 2 for 2 years?
So we included some language in the proposal that allows us to tweak it. That actual piece right now, we have it listed as, so it's paying for a portion of a number of different staff's salaries over 2 years. So the budget for this program is much larger, so we're covering the gap in the ability to provide full service for 2 years.
Yeah, it looked like it was like 600,000, and I was a little confused because when you go between 9 and 10, it says annual total is 600,000, but the grant amount is 125,000. But then as you continue, it shows 252,000. So that was a little confusing as well.
Yeah, so it's 125,000 per year for staff costs.
Okay.
And then we included $2,000 to, we're asking all of our subrecipients to put together an affirmative marketing plan to just make sure that any of the programs or services that are offered that are funded with Home-ARP dollars address, first of all, scan to ensure that there aren't any sort of access issues, and then we've included a small budget to help them overcome them. So translation of documents or any other sort of barriers that arise, marketing the programs or services to make sure that they reach maybe hard to reach communities or folks that are less likely to access the services. So that's how we get to the 252,000.
Okay, fantastic. And thank you for bringing that up. And I didn't see that presentation attached in regards to what that might look like. So maybe I missed that presentation that Dan gave, or if it wasn't attached here.
No, it's not a presentation that Dan gave. Dan's just here, the director is here. I'm just saying that they did have
their
a proposal.
proposal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those proposals were accepted as a part of an RFP process where we solicited proposals from the public.
Okay.
For the Home-ARP dollars. And it was a part of their proposal where they specifically addressed those issues.
Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic. I look forward to seeing how that goes. Although I won't sit here, I will be very eagerly following that to see how that spans out, because I would love to see that 250,000 with caseworkers really turn into homes, and the unhomed having a place to be, so.
Well, just to clarify, this is for supportive services?
Yes.
So some portions of the Home Mart dollars are going towards the actual development of units. But
Yep, but helping people find homes is a
Yeah,
big portion of that, and resources, and navigating what that looks like. So I'm eager to see what that looks like for the community that will tap into this. So, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commission comments at this time? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 543? Resolution 543 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 544. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
As permitted under the Michigan Open Meetings Act, a public body, upon a majority vote, may meet in closed session for strategy and negotiation sessions connected with the negotiation of a collective bargaining agreement if either negotiating party requests a closed hearing and the city has requested that closed session. And that Rebecca Fleury, City Manager, is hereby appointed as the designated secretary to record and prepare appropriate minutes of this closed session. This resolution seeks to set a closed session on a labor matter for November 15, 2022.
Commissioner Morris moves to approve Resolution 544.
Vice Mayor Reynolds supports.
So moved and supported to approve Resolution 544. Are there any comments by the commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 544? Resolution 544 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is a general public comment. If you'd like to make a general public comment regarding matters over which the City Commission has control, please raise your hand and wait for us to acknowledge you, and then come forward to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes to make your comment. Please state your name and address prior to beginning your comment. Are there any public comments at this time? Kathy?
Thank you for recognizing me, Mr. Mayor. Kathy Antea, Park Ridge Drive, Battle Creek. I just wanted to publicly and personally thank the commissioners that will be leaving the City Commission. Bonica Herring, Kathy Zenda Wilson, Kristen Blood, and of course Lynn Ward Gray. And I'm very sorry to see y'all go. I want to give you my gratitude for the work that you've done. I don't always agree with y'all, but that's okay. That's not the important thing. The important thing is that you are making good choices for the residents in our community to the best of your ability. Thank you very much. I also look forward to the new commission for newbies. Wow. Or not so newbies. Sorry, Chris. Anyways, thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment. Are there any other public comments? We're going to go Dan Jones, and then we'll go up to...
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you. Daniel Jones at 128 Mingus Forest Lane in Battle Creek. I'm also the Executive Director of Haven of Rest. 543 was on your agenda tonight, so thank you very much for that approval. Those supportive services are going towards our men's and women's life recovery programs that employ well over 20 people in programs that cost in total almost $1 million. That are also supported by other HUD grants and federal dollars, so we do comply with all the federal regulations that are placed on us, and we are inspected and audited very regularly on how we comply with those. Some of the most amazing recoveries come from these men's and women's life recovery programs. Families reunited, mothers getting children back that have been taken out of their custody because of substance abuse. Just today, we've had a podcast on 98.5 WNWN speaking with one of the ladies from our life recovery program who came through and suffered a history of trauma and abuse, but in the time she spent with us at our women's life recovery, built something of an amazing future for herself. And now she's an employee of the Haven. We love her very much. She sings in the kitchen all day long, and just a wonderful person with a bright future. We do have regular graduations from our men's and women's programs. The men's program graduates right across the street at First United Methodist Church. The ladies program, we usually go to either Family Altar or have the graduations at the Emily Andrus home up on Northeast Capitol. And they are open to the public, and everyone is welcome to those. Mayor Benke has attended, Commissioner Sophia has attended those in roles as commissioners to congratulate the men and women who are graduating from these programs. It's a very serious business, and the men and women who graduate will tell you one of two things. Number one, they want to thank the Haven for providing the opportunity to recover their lives. And number two, if they weren't there, they'd probably be dead. And that's very, very serious when we are talking about building our community and reaching out to the very most vulnerable citizens we have. And those are folks who are in the midst of addiction or in the midst of some sort of situation in their life that they're so traumatically affected. They're unhoused, they're unsheltered, they have no food, no place to go, and most importantly, no hope. And that's where the Haven creates change. And so your support tonight, these dollars will go towards creating that change in people's lives, and we look forward to helping Battle Creek and helping the most vulnerable of our citizens get back on their feet, get back into the workforce, and get back to a really productive life in the community. So thank you again from the Haven of Rest, and on behalf of my board of directors, thank you.
Dan, thank you for everything you do too. Appreciate your comment. Cindy?
Cindy Dion, 24 Poplar. I first of all want to take an opportunity to thank all of you for your service to this community. Without your dedication and without your service, we would not have a positive place in the city of Battle Creek. I will continue to come to meetings, and I will continue to encourage the idea of an inclusive society where everyone's needs get met. And that takes a lot of out-of-the-box thinking. And for those of you who are staying and for those of you who are coming in, I encourage that kind of thinking to make homes for the homeless, to make seniors feel more wanted and important in the area, to keep feeding the hungry. These are all things that need to be done. And yes, they cost money, but the safety and security that they provide are priceless. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Any other public comments at this time? Yes, Reese?
Good evening, Reese Atkins, 24 Popular. Once again, I also would like to say congratulations to all the commissioners who won, and thank all the ones who are leaving. Wish you the best luck. If you're on a committee, stay. You know, come join more of of what's going on. Don't leave completely. And then on another matter, just one point that I want to bring up on 533 through 538. And I see this quite regularly when I'm coming to these meetings, that you are appointing people to these different committees. Why don't you put the name of who these people are so that the citizens of Battle Creek can say, okay, I know who this person is. If I have an issue like with Lakeview downtown development, I can go to these people and take my concerns to them and say, this is where my concerns are. Right now, if I look at this, I don't know who they are. I don't know who you're appointing. I don't know who to talk to if I've got a problem. So add a name onto who you're putting on these committees so that we can continue to communicate with these people. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other public comment at this time? John?
John Kennevic, 234 South Avenue. As I was coming up the stairway to this meeting, a man said, new guy here, he says, well, what are you doing here? And I said, well, I'm a regular here. And I told that man that when anybody says something up here, the commission, I respond usually for what you don't say. So I'm going to say some things that this commission isn't probably going to like, but it's just like the citizens of Battle Creek to take that into consideration. I'm glad that most of you that are leaving. Goodbye and good riddance. I have a very simple standard, not very difficult to understand. On December 15, 2020, you were all put to the test whether you would represent the government of Battle Creek or the citizens of Battle Creek. All of you chose the government of Battle Creek. Resolution 24 was a cost savings from $900,000 that the taxpayers pay down to $500,000. You thought it was more important for the $400,000 that the taxpayers pay to keep for the keep for the city government. In other words, you swindled them out of $400,000 every year. You had two resolutions where you had two municipal bonds, they were $1 million apiece, and you approved them where there was going to be a cost reduction in the interest rate, resulting in a cost savings. The people that pay that bill, those two municipal bonds, are the citizens of Battle Creek. They received nothing. I would have liked to see a lot more of you gone, but then the question always comes up, are you going to replace them with the same kind of people that are currently in office? I've watched this over 20 years. It's all the same. You're all the same to me, makes no difference to me. Government is more important than everyone else, and you've proved that time and time again. At the last commission meeting, Mr. I can't pronounce his name, he was an ex-manager of Bedford Township, Halika. He used the word cronyism, so I looked it up today, and I thought I'd read it to you. What is the actual meaning of cronyism? Cronyism is the practice of partiality in awarding jobs and other advantages to friends or trusted colleagues, especially in politics and between politicians and supportive organizations. When you're competing in a market in a city level compared to other municipalities, other cities, if you want people to come to Battle Creek, you have to out-compete other municipalities. Unfortunately, you created an environment that does the opposite of that. I would have loved to see the opposite of that because I think it'd be better to live in Battle Creek than other places, but you're making it extremely difficult. Can't wait to see the rest of you leave sometime and voted out of office. Thank you.
Any other public comments at this time? Seeing none, any commission comments? Commissioner Wilson.
In the wake of an election just a week ago, I wanted to lift up Vicki and her staff for a phenomenal job again. Every indication that I witnessed, it went smoothly, and that is no small feat. So I just want to, again, that's every couple of years that you really kind of run a marathon that none of us could really you're still standing, so thank you.
You're welcome.
And just another point I'd like to make, I wish Dan was still here, but the fact that he's left is I think it's really important for us to continually remember the importance of empathy, and that the opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it's connection. And what the programs there do is really help people connect with themselves and with others. And so when we can be a part of that, when we can see our role, and not just in those programs with people who are addicted, but all of us need that. So let's be there for each other and continue to support one another. And so thank you to everybody who comes consistently. Whether or not you're here to say things that are unpleasant to hear, that are difficult to hear, we need it all. That's why we've stepped up. And so thank you. And again, my heart is full and I'm appreciative. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Vice Mayor Reynolds.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, happy safe travels if you're traveling. But it's nice to be with family if you can get there. So happy Thanksgiving to all.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other commission comments at this time? Commissioner Blood.
Well, definitely what Commissioner Kathy Zenda-Wilson said. I am very thankful for all the work that the Haven has been doing and continues to do. And I am also very thankful to Vicki and her team. Just to lift some of that up, some were here until 2 in the morning or past the next day. Some had to come back to work the next day and had to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to interact with the people. And so I really want to lift up her team, and not only her team, but also a lot of the staff here at the city who shows up and supports Vicki and her team. I know I got to interact with Ms. Hull and got to do some work with her. And I believe our new fire chief threw himself in there and was there election night as well. And many others I probably did not see because you were working behind the scenes. So thank you for supporting Vicki and her team, and thank you to Vicki and the team as well. Also, what you said, Kathy, it's not always easy to sit up here. Some of the comments are hard. And that's okay, because we do sign up for them, and it's definitely a good thing to sit on this side of the table and learn a little bit about how government really works and how things really function, and to really dive into how hard staff work and how hard commissioners work. And sometimes we see the world through rose-colored glasses on the inside, but as soon as you get in here, you start realizing how some things really do happen. And so I'm appreciative of this experience and the knowledge that staff and my commissioners have given. So thank you, and good luck again to the next commissioners.
Thank you very much for your comments, Commissioner Blood. Are there any other comments at this time? Seeing none, we're going to go into recess, and we'll come back from the recess in a little while. I'll be going into a closed session. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll return from recess, and I'll call upon Commissioner Morris for a resolution.
Commissioner Morris moves to approve the tentative agreement between the city and ATU on November 1st, 2022.
Vice Mayor Reynolds supports.
It's been moved and supported to approve the resolution. Are there any comments by the commission? Any questions? Hearing none, would you please vote? I guess we're going to have to take a, well, sorry. Resolution has been approved. This adjourns our meeting. Thank you very much.